Hi, welcome back to Masechet Ta'anit, Daf Daled Amud Aleph, the bottom of the Amud. Ein shoalin et hagshamim v'chulei. This is a quote from our original Mishnah that you don't ask for rain. You don't ask for rain except for close to when you want rain. Samuch l'gshamim. And this, of course, is different from the language of mazkirin gvurot geshamim, mentioning gvurot geshamim. Savruha she'ela v'hazkara chana miltahi. Initially, they thought that maybe she'elah, asking for rain, and hazkara, mentioning rain, were the same thing, right? When you mention rain, it's because you're asking for it, if you're mentioning it in davening. Man Tana, who's the Tana whose position would be supported by this reading? Amar Rava, Rabbi Yeshua. Rava thinks this is Rabbi Yeshua's position. De'amar misha'at hanachato, because Rabbi Yeshua said that you start mentioning rain from the time that you put down the lulav. That's the end of Sukkot. So when you're mentioning rain, you're really asking for rain because we want it to rain after Sukkot. Amar le Abaye. Abaye responds to him and says, Afilo tema Rabbi Eliezer. You could even interpret this according to the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer, of course, who said that you start mentioning rain from the first day of Sukkot. She'elah l'chud v'hazkara l'chud, because she'elah is one thing and hazkara is another thing. So you start mentioning rain on the first day of Sukkot, but you're not really asking for it until after Sukkot. The Ika da'amre, and there are those who say, in other words, there are some who have a different version of the conversation that we just presented. Lema, let us say, Rabbi Yehoshua, that this is actually the position of Rabbi Yehoshua, represented in our Mishnah. So again, Rabbi Yehoshua, that Damar Misha'at Hanachato, that you start asking for rain only after you've put down the lulav, meaning the end of Sukkot. That's when you start mentioning rain. Mentioning and asking are the same thing. Amar Rava, Rava responds, Afilu tema Rabbi Eliezer. You can even say that this is Rabbi Eliezer, She'elah l'chud v'hazkara l'chud, because asking is one thing and mentioning is another thing. So when Rabbi Eliezer says you start mentioning rain at the beginning of Sukkot, sure, but you're not asking for it till after Sukkot. Those two versions are the same, practically speaking. They give the same two answers to the question of who the Tana of the Mishnah is. Rabbi Yehoshua and Rabbi Eliezer, with exactly the same reasoning. The only difference between the two versions is who says what. In the first version, Rava speaks and then Abaye responds. And in the second version, the first position is anonymous and then Rava responds. Okay, going on in the Gemara, Rabbi Yehuda Omer ha'over lifnei hateva v'chulei. So this is another quote from our Mishnah. I recommend looking back at it. Essentially what happens here is that Rabbi Yehuda says that the person who gets up to Daven Musaf on the last day of Sukkot starts asking for rain, and the person who gets up to Daven Musaf on the first day of Pesach stops asking for rain. So what's going to happen here? The word or minhu is going to introduce a source that contradicts this piece of the Mishnah, and then there's going to be a resolution to that contradiction. So having told you that we have a contradiction with a source that contradicts our source, and then a resolution, I'm just going to read you this piece of the Gemara, and I want you to create a chart, notes, whatever you want, that reflect your understanding of this piece as best you can. Or minhu. Again, a contradicting source. Ad matai shoalin et hagshamim. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, ad she'avor haPesach. Rabbi Meir Omer, ad she'avor Nisan. Amar Rav Chisda, lo kasha. Kan lishol, kan lehaskir, mishal shal va'azil, v'haskir b'yom tov harishon pasik. And that's the end of that section. Again, creating a structure chart, but giving me a sense that, at least the structure chart, that you have a sense of which piece fits into the contradiction, how the source that brings the contradiction is structured, and where the resolution is, and giving me some sense of what you understood from this source. Okay, I'm putting this in red, and we'll stop here.